This is IBM Museum, and we have another unboxing, unbagging, whatever. I went through and what's called the collective, just the back channel communication. We located a couple books that were on eBay, and I am glad to see by being books that they're sent by USPS media mail that still exists for books and for CDs, diskette data as well, can be mailed under a better rate based on the contents of the package that's a book. And we get a nice little advertisement page here of newspaper. Almost looks like Christmas wrapping the way it's folded. And I can learn what deals I can get at the Big Five. I don't have one local to me, but nice little colorful wrapping. Now, and it actually looks like it is in order of the auction listings that I have here. And to make sure that I've got just this full field of vision, and I'm aware that going through and seeing me on both the webcam and the recorder in that out of phase with that delay can probably be a little bit discombobulating, but there is the manual, first manual, 82310 microchannel compatible peripheral chipset. Now, in case people don't know, there is chipsets for the microchannel adapters, and Chips and Technology, Altera. There's quite a few chips actually that are out there. I'm not aware of any that use this Intel peripheral chipset, but I can look through on the Intel boards and otherwise see if it shows up that way. And I'll link in where the PDFs of the scans of the manuals for the other chipsets are. I don't think that we have any detail on this Intel chipset as of yet otherwise. So this manual will be scanned, and this is just standard Intel layout as it goes through and identifies how they have their manual pages set up, and even quite a bit of information there, and looks like it is for the DX and SX 386, and I was just looking to see if it was just for the 386 SX at first, but I see the early marking that Intel had just with the 386 without the marking of the DX after it to denote that chip version. We've got a little bit of a layout there. And all the logic gates and everything. Okay, lots of diagrams, and as I say, I'll go through and I'll have the scan. It's nice to see that it lists as advanced information. And there's the packaging plastic quad flat pack. And it talks about the different chips of the chipset there. I guess they say the JDEC standard gull-wing packages. Bumpers at the corner. And there we have the different chips apparently. And going through the pinouts. And it's a 100-pin quad flat pack chip. Probably a lot the same appearance as the 386SX. The typical package for that is. Timing diagrams, all sorts of things. Just nomenclature on the pins of what they do. But this will all get scanned in and ultimately up on the Ardent-Tool with the other PDFs. I'll show the link for that and provide it in the video description of where that repository is for the manuals like this, where they go. And then the second manual, I have to see the, okay, and maybe it looks like two different peripheral families effectively, or at least that this looks just a little bit more glossy in productions without any of the binder rings, and just get to where the ability to focus. But yeah, it looks like a more of a glossy version maybe of that. Okay. And there, you know, this may be a later manual because then there it goes through, even has the trademark notation and goes through and talks about the 386, you know, trademark DX. And talks about up to the 25 megahertz. So I mean, it looks like all the same sort of diagrams, just probably a later, yep, just probably a later version, and that's fine for all that. A little bigger view, the pinouts, same electrical characteristics, electrical specifications, and so just a little bit more of a production form level maybe. Timing diagrams. There's your address bus controller. So this will be just a real neat set of editions for both of those books to the repository that we have those in. So let me bring up that location. Okay, so this is the datasheet location, just as Ardent-Tool, ardent-tool.com/datasheets, and just of course, a alphabetical listing there of going through. Now, some of the other designs, those chips and technology data sheets that you see there, those are probably one of the more common microchannel peripheral chipsets. The 82C611, I've seen that, and 82C612. I've seen those versions of those chips, and probably at some point they, can do a little table. I've done informal, I think, on the SIF news group years ago. I talked about the peripheral chips and which adapters I'd found them on, and probably can do kind of a modern equivalent of that just for where they're spotted in the wild, because I don't remember seeing these Intel chipsets before. Now, one of them had like a VGA controller and things like that. It may be that just I haven't seen the designs effectively for where those chips would be. But it's just that those chips are designed for an easier interface, having a system or adapters that are microchannel, just as an easier way to basically wire things up and get those adapters out, because there is there's of course specifications and all sorts of details to the microchannel bus. But I'll include a link to this in the directory. It's got even EPROMs and RAM DACs and all sorts of things. The Dallas real-time clock chips with the non-volatile RAM, all kinds of pages in here. Just an accumulation that Major Tom has done over time. If it was helpful for having the data sheet of that chip, it got thrown into this directory, and a lot of time it's linked in from pages for at the Ardent-Tool that may reference this and need to for people to look at that to get a little bit more information. So I hope that this has been another informative informative video in its own right. Just me going through and unwrapping things and going through, and now I need to go through and get it scanned so we can get it up in electronic form so more people can see these. But, informative enough of video to where I source these things, and it's just pointed out to me by the collective of something that need to be picked up, and I'm the one to do that a lot of the time, as it comes down to be. So if you enjoyed the video, click on that like button, please, and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.